Anthony Fantano has something to discuss about AI music. Let's check this one out.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. Yeah, let's do what I like to call an RFT, a real fun thing. That's an Anthony Fantano trademark, don't impede upon it, okay? Yeah, let's do an RFT and have a discussion about the continued erosion of art, music, and the creative process through AI. This has been a topic on the channel many a time up until this point. You would think that we could just like stop discussing it now, that we're kind of beating a dead horse or something. But here's the problem. It keeps coming up. It won't go away.
Like you said, it's impossible almost to talk about modern music and like kind of the current landscape of where the current landscape and what the future landscape might look like in music without discussing AI. Because if you don't think Spotify is out there actively using AI or finding ways for future reference to implement AI, you are sadly mistaken, because we talked about this a couple weeks ago, how Spotify got caught using fake artists in their playlists, especially like kind of lo-fi, hip hop, kind of, study type music that a lot of people use and listen to in the background. They were literally inserting fake artists into those playlists so that they would not have to pay the actual artists out there making music. And if you don't think that is going to be a continued push for them in terms of, AI and music and like finding ways to cut out even more music from paying, more musicians from getting paid, like, you are sadly mistaken. And like, it is going to be a continued conversation in the industry about AI. It's not going anywhere. It's only going to be used more. It's only going to get bigger. And like, it's looking real scary out there in terms of being like a musician.
Like, if this whole AI thing was dead on arrival and essentially was just dying on the vine, there would really be no reason to draw attention to it or discuss it. However, its power and its influence keeps growing and spreading like a hideous disease. And the people who are pushing it out there into the world are getting bolder and less ashamed about their association with this garbage. Enter the AI music generating platform Suno AI, which, if you check their social media pages, there are quite a bit of videos and pieces of short form content that essentially show you how quick and easy it is to use Suno to generate some original tracks. Like this one over here featuring this dude who is hammering out a real nice beat, school lunchroom on the table style.
I'm gonna try something new today. First, I'm gonna record a beat.
And apparently after taking that recording and feeding it into Suno AI, this is what it came out with. Like, I'm positively, absolutely sure there are at least 100 hobbyist home producers watching this video right now, ripping their hair out of their head, who would have done a much better job remixing this dude's rhythm into something way cooler, more colorful, more interesting. Nothing against this guy, though. I'm sure he's gotten a check, and he's done some cool short form content that I've seen shit around Instagram.
Again, AI and its use is obviously extremely, extremely controversial. The whole concept of AI being original is a very heated and contested idea, and one that, obviously the people behind AI are pushing back extremely hard against, because the truth of it is AI is not original. Facts. Music in general is not original. Like, music builds and iterates on everything that has come before. Like, there is no music without influence or inspiration of some form from something that came before. But that is creativity in general. But at least when it came in terms of humans creating it, they had to, at least for the most part, go inside their brains, work things out on a creative scale, and then reproduce it or produce something that is wholly different enough or iterated enough to be its own. If not, you get sued. Obviously, that is a whole another aspect of music and copyright and whatnot. But the fact that they call AI original, when the whole process of even building a AI platform is using learning materials, meaning scanning the internet, scanning songs, scanning song structure, scanning production, scanning beats, like You can scan the absolutely unlimited amount of music data out there to create your own original compositions. And instead of having, one artist out there that you can kind of hold up in court and say that, illegally took or copyright infringed on your own kind of music and song, you are going against an algorithm, a program, a set of code, and like how, and like that line of what is stealing, what is original, and what is just what it is now is extremely blurred, and one that has not been fully resolved in terms of the court. So like to call AI original is is a stretch of the word, to say the least.
What I found to be even more strange was that they were proud to post this other clip over here, which features an electronic original.
Dude, that was AI.
Oh man, that was AI? You're telling me the most generic frickin' glitch pop track with the 8-bit NES lead melody was made by a robot? I mean, I'm sure it did after you trained it on some kid's SoundCloud. So, yes.
Bruh. I mean, again, like, yes, it might have been made with AI, but you can't tell me it doesn't sound like at least 50 to 100 different other songs of that kind of variation. Like you said, on SoundCloud, like that sound is very, very popular, very easy to emulate, very easy to reproduce, and to say like, this is created on the AI, this is original. Like it's bullshit. It's just a straight up lie, in a way not to credit the actual artist that you are stealing from, because that's exactly what they're doing. They are copying the countless amounts of music data out there and reproducing it in its own original context, and then reselling that to this new audience. They are making music, making money off of the backs of true people and musicians out there, and they are continuing to erode the economy of the music industry, and it's only going to continue to happen.
Suno AI seems to be a little on the come up when it comes to these music generation garbage platforms. Usually when I see these websites and services being pitched across social media,
I mean, obviously I'm not the one that feels that way. If every single major label is also suing you, they probably are feeling some type of way about you and your inspiration behind your AI models.
They typically,
and not all AI models are made the same. Some are truly kind of random and do try to iterate in a more kind of creative, expansive way, while some are so cheaply built, so the code is so simple, so cheaply made, that the whole purpose is basically chopping what they hear into samples and then repurposing it in its own compositions. And that is literally copyright infringement and stealing.
Like to sell them on the fact that they can enhance your creativity and so on and so forth. But the co-founder of this company, Mikey Shulman, had a very different reasoning behind why Suno AI is so great, which comes up in the podcast discussion clip right here.
If you want to impact the way 1 billion people experience music, you have to build something for 1 billion people. And so that is first and foremost giving everybody the joys of creating music. And this is a huge departure from how it is now. It's not really enjoyable to make music now. People enjoy
Why'd you say
Suno.
that?
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. You need to get really good at an instrument or really good at a piece of production software. I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making music.
Wow.
Bruh.
What?
That is an absolutely insane fucking statement to make about music and creation and for the purpose of your whole platform. Absolutely insane. If your whole purpose is, well, one, let's just talk about it. Does music have a barrier? Yes. Was the barrier practice, like you said? learning an instrument, learning how to produce, learning how to mix, learning how to master, learning how the ins and outs of how to create music and then reproduce it. Yes, that has generally been the typical kind of barrier of entry for all music for the past, 100 or so years. But obviously, with the introduction of laptops and cheaply made drum machines and loops and just all these other tools out there for you, like Fruit Loops, like all these other tools out there for these artists and musicians to use, the barrier has become less and less and less. Like, he's talking about these barriers as if they are truly that is like it's a true obstacle for people to make music these days. I think those barriers are basically almost non-existent as they are and where things stand now. I mean, we also talked about this a couple of weeks ago. People are putting out, I think they said like over 200 and something thousand songs per day on streaming services. So I don't really see how there's a barrier when people are able to pump out that many songs, and like the ability to hop on any program and within like 2 minutes, 20 minutes of a YouTube tutorial, and you will be able to produce a song from front to back. I would not really consider that a considerable barrier of entry to make music. So that's one. I don't think there's necessarily a problem with what is out there. Like, it's so easy to make music as it is. Two, I think the fact that there's less barriers is actually a detriment to the music that we are getting these days, because it is so easy for people to produce music, to make music, to put out music. We are just getting so much trash. So much trash. The quality of music, I would say, overall, has gone down drastically, and is a big reason why the music business in general is struggling so far. They do not know how to make stars anymore. And like especially in hip hop, I'm gonna speak from a hip hop specific kind of standpoint where the barrier of entry is basically zero. It's basically zero these days. Like, it takes nothing to record a song. It takes nothing to get a beat. It takes nothing to put it out. And there are no barriers of entry there. So like, the fact that there are no barriers is drastically bringing down the quality of music that is getting put out there these days. Yes, there's still some very high quality music. Yes, there's still some really great stuff out there, but it's getting buried amongst a bunch of fucking trash. So I don't think we are in a state where people are like looking at this and thinking, you know what we want in music? Less barriers. You know what we want? We want to make it easier for people to produce bullshit and trash. Like, if that is what you're producing with AI, like if you go to click a button, you can make a song, and then you're considering that and putting your name to it and like consider that a good things in terms of the health of the genre and the industry, that's a problem. Like, that is a problem, because you're only looking at this as a way to monetize an entire world of people. But like, there's a reason why it was hard to make music. There's a reason why only the most talented typically made it. There's a reason why it took people years to break through, because like, if you truly hate or dislike the process of making music, you probably should not be making music.
Ow! What a take. But I guess not actually surprising for a guy whose Twitter bio says he's a former mediocre musician. I mean, that must be because he actually put in the work to become a good musician. That's how he knows making music and playing music is so much not fun. Okay, before I go in on this, I just want to say I love how even the podcast host opposite of this guy even sort of, sees his idea as being sort of stupid on some level. I mean, he looks like he takes care of himself and works out, and of course asks like, isn't it like running? Running's hard work, and running is cool, and being able to run is great, and putting in the hard work to learn and do something great is cool. But no, apparently that's not Mikey's mindset. He's like, you know what? Making music fucking sucks. And it's lame, and it's dumb, and it's boring.
Most people drop out of that pursuit because it was hard. And
that's a good thing. That is a good thing. If the reason why you stop doing something, especially something as creative and as like expansive and as kind of liberating as music, is because it is too hard, it is too difficult to make songs, to make music, if that is what's keeping you from pursuing that as a career, that's a good thing. I know we got to a point where things were getting way too gatekept. There were way too many gatekeepers. It was way too hard to enter. Like, there were people, especially these labels, that became so fucking big, so giant, that they were literally picking and choosing which artists are going to be the next ones or try to make the next ones. That yes, things were getting too blocked off, too controlled, too centralized. But now it's a wild west. It's a free for all. And if you're going to try to remove the last single barrier of entry to make music, can you imagine the playlist that people are going to be listening to or being put on Spotify? Like, if it is too hard to make music and you quit, I'm sorry. But that's a good thing. You shouldn't be a musician. It's just not for you.
And so I think that the people that you know that run, this is a highly biased selection of the population that fell in love with it.
Who wants to like learn to make music and get good at art and stuff when you can just have AI get good at art for you? I'm sorry, but Mikeman. Maybe I'm sort of speaking out of turn here because I am not a professional musician myself. But in my experience, many of the professional musicians who I know, the process of making the music they release to the world for their fans to hear is actually like the most gratifying and interesting and fun part of the whole process. In fact, they actually wish they didn't have to do all this like social media and promotional bullshit so that they would have more time to do the music making stuff. I mean, a lot of them would actually be making more music if they had the time and the resources and a bunch of other stuff. And, you know, if they weren't also having to worry about Spotify squeezing them dry monetarily. Okay.
Facts. And facts, all facts. Anthony Fantano, Melonhead, is spitting straight goddamn facts. If the process is not the most enjoyable part of it for you, I'm sorry, music might not be for you. The whole point of music is creation. Like, it's literally creation. If you are just in it for the girls, for the glitz, for the fame, for the name notoriety, if you're just in it for that reason, you are literally what is wrong with music these days. Like, that is why you are here for it. You are literally what is wrong with music. Because at the end of the day, yes, a lot of things come with music. You can make a lot of money. You can get a lot of fame. But at the end of the day, it is still an art form.
Okay, like personally, here's an even better hot take for you, Mike. Maybe not everyone should make music. Yeah, I, as a music reviewer, do personally think not everyone should make music. I don't mean to sound like pretentious or like a gatekeeper or a jerk. And look, I'm also not trying to say here that you shouldn't make music if you suck and like you're not good enough. No, honestly, even if you do suck and you're not that good, if you genuinely want to put in the time to make and play and write music or whatever, then go for it. Then do it. If you enjoy doing it, that is validation enough for you to do it.
That is also a point I did want to clarify. It's like, yes, there are people out there that love the creation, love the process of making music, love putting out songs, making songs, but just aren't good or just don't break through for whatever reason. But they still love music. They still have the love for the process, for the creation, for the actually like craft of music making and music creation. If that is what you fall into, continue to do what you do. Like, not every musician is going to be the most successful, but if you love to make music for the love of music, then you should do that. But if you are only in it of music to make a quick buck or to flip it into something else or just to like milk it for what it's worth, then like, come on, bro, stay the fuck away. Like, I'm sorry. Like, some people need to be gatekept. I'm sorry. That's just where we are in terms of the music industry.
However, if you're the type of person who sits there and fantasizes about like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool to be a musician? And wouldn't it be cool to be a singer and be on a stage and rock out and da 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 da. But then in your mind, when you think of all the things and all the work that you're going to have to put in to do that and get to that place, you start to think, actually, maybe I won't. If that is your thought process, you have your answer right there. Don't fucking make music. Leave music making for the people that think of that work and think of that process and are like, I'm going to do that. Those are the people who end up making your favorite albums, not the guy who's like, oh man, making music is so fucking lame. This take is just mind-blowing to me. Like, I get it. Musicians are in a tough place right now in terms of time and resources and a lot of other things. But simultaneously, between all of the technology we have at our fingertips, like, it has never been easier to generate and upload a track to the internet. You can do it within a matter of hours at the very least. The idea that, like, we need technology, we need some platform to step in and make music creating even easier for people who, like, the demographic, as Michael told you, is literally people who hate making music. Yeah, honestly, like, the last people I want to hear music from are people who hate fucking making it. Like, it's already hard enough to make great music when you actually want to do so, when that's actually your intention and you're passionate about it and you have fun making the music that you're making. Like, what hope do all of these poor suckers have who actually don't even enjoy the process of making music? What are the chances they're actually going to make anything good? Zero. Less than fucking zero. So honestly, I feel like Mike should just step back. Suno AI should just, shutter the doors of the company and maybe go back to the drawing board and
we got a little response from my guy Mikey Shulman. Watching myself on video always makes me cringe, but doubly so when I've expressed an idea badly. The quote makes it sound like I'm discouraging people from learning music, enjoying music, or improving their craft. I don't mean to, and that's my fault, not the interviewers. I've been playing piano since age 4 and bass since 13. I still play literally every day. I bought the piano bass in my office, and it brings me immense joy. I encourage everyone I know to find joy in music in their own way, but there are two unfortunate and common cases where people miss out on the joys of making music. People who drop their craft out of frustration before they get good enough to enjoy it, and B, people who struggle through learn an instrument to a high level and then drop it because they couldn't keep up with the practice or it became stressful. How many people do you know who stopped playing their instrument when they were in left high school? This is what I was referring to, not undermining the value of practice, which is valuable whether it's something tools like Suno or apparently talking. I mean, look, nice way to clean it up, but it's a little too late. Like, your whole game, your whole reach is literally, like, the whole purpose of what you guys have built is so barefaced and so blatant that, like, I don't really care at this point what you have to say. Like, it's so obvious. Like, this is a money grab. You literally mentioned billions of people, like, as if we need billions of people putting out shit music. Like, that is not what music needs. Yes, there are tools. There's a million tools already to make music, and yes, there can be better tools to make music creation for people who love music, maybe even a little bit better, like maybe like tools to fix mastering, maybe something like that. But like a straight up AI tool to create a song from front to back is not for people who love music. It is for people who want to cash out and want to flood shit with garbage, straight up garbage. You know how many empty playlists of AI trash we're going to get if this continues? It's going to be endless. And the simple fact that, like, again, it's not one-to-one. It's not one-to-one. But in sports, there's such thing as steroids, and steroids enhance and make things so much easier for an athlete. It improves you to a degree that you do not need to work necessarily as hard as others. And even if you do, it's an enhancement. And the fact that that is illegal because it is unfair. And then you have people like this that want to literally strip out the entire process of creation and just pump out track after track after track is legal. It's kind of crazy to me. Like, at some point, somebody has to stand up for the art of music and like put in some sort of protection. Something needs to happen because the barrier, the walls are down and the floodgates are open, and it's becoming ridiculous.
and try to make something that just has better intentions, better ethos behind it. Like, it's okay to not be great at everything. It's okay to have fleeting thoughts where you muse about doing this or doing that or doing this other thing. It's okay to try stuff and like fail at it and move on and realize that like a certain something isn't for you. Like, I personally, one of my favorite artistic mediums is painting. I love going to museums. I love looking at art. I love just observing paintings and just, beautiful works of art, be they Renaissance or abstract and everything in between. And while I think painting and painters are really cool, and while it would be really awesome to have like some kind of work I created go up in the MoMA or something like that, simultaneously, when I think about everything I would need to do to get to that point, I'm not that interested in painting. I don't even really get that much personally out of the process of like, painting in and of itself. So as a result of that, I just don't do it. I leave painting to the people who enjoy painting. And then I turn around and go do the things I actually enjoy doing. And again, that's okay. There's no failure in that. There's no shame in that. We can all do that. We don't need to then search for an AI platform to do that thing we wish we could do well for us and then call it our own. Because honestly, that's not really creativity. That's just bullshit. That's just being lazy. Frankly, warning, I am going to get mean here. There's already enough lazy ass music out there to begin with, made by people who actually want to make it. People who, even if I don't really like their stuff, I have to respect the fact that they put in the work to make that thing happen regardless. What I am never, ever, 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 ever going to have respect for is some motherfucker being like, making music is just boring as fuck. I'm just going to have AI do it for me and just call it my track. Boom, that's it. Call it a day. Because really, the word lazy doesn't even adequately describe how dumb that is. So yeah, again, let's leave making music for the people who actually want to do it and get joy out of the process of doing so. Maybe I'm setting my expectations too high, making that the barrier to entry, but can we make it at least that? But yeah, this is definitely one of the worst.
You spit straight facts, and Fantano was spitting straight facts. I agree wholeheartedly. Like I said, I do think the absolutely removal of barriers of entry to music has been good and bad. Largely good, but also largely bad. Like equally good and equally bad. Like obviously, if you make things easier, you're gonna get more music. You're gonna get more people in it, and like that's a good thing. People should have the ability to make and produce and put out their own music because gatekeepers are not always right. But you do need some sort of barriers. Like if there are no barriers, what is the point? What is the point of even doing it? If there's no process, if there's no struggle, there's no point of like getting better at something, like then what is the point of even doing it in the first place outside of monetization and commercialism? And if that is the whole purpose of what music has become, there's a reason why the shit sucks these days, like straight up. Because if this is the mindset of people in terms of music in 2025, we are cooked. That was easily the worst music take I have probably ever heard from anybody. Ridiculous.